All right, the budget reconciliation bill and the current budget bill that expires in a month are front and center on Capitol Hill right now. Joining us with the latest on these topics and more is Axios politics reporter Steph Kite and CNBC Washington correspondent Emily Wilkins. Welcome to both of you. Emily, why don't we start with you and just get an update on where things stand. The Senate and the House see things differently. The House wants one big bill. The Senate wants to start moving on some of these issues. And I know there's a movement afoot that they've made more progress at this point and maybe some funding that is necessary very quickly. What's the latest?
Well, Becky, the Senate did take the first steps yesterday, moving their I think of it as like a slim thing and then a comprehensive thing. The Senate's moving their slim Trump agenda through. They did get a committee clearance yesterday, which means the next step is for it to get a vote on the floor. But the House is really hoping to catch up today, this morning at 10 a.m. A committee is expected to meet and mark up their sort of comprehensive overview. This is the spending, the cuts, but even though it's not the policy details, it's just the top line numbers, it's already causing a lot of angst in the House. I've talked to, and I'm sure Steph's spoken with as well, a number of sort of hardline conservative members who have said, look, we're glad that there's $1.5 trillion in cuts, but we actually want to see more. There is a provision in there that could get them to $2 trillion. They say they want to see more guarantees around that particular provision. And then you have to consider what else is in this package. I mean, they're putting $4.5 trillion towards extending Trump's 2017 tax cuts in the House package. And $4.5 trillion, it sounds like a lot, but that actually does not leave a lot of wiggle room for everything that Trump is asking for. If you want to extend the tax package for the next 10 years, the maximum time you can do it, that's going to cost around $4.7 trillion. And then if you want to add in things like no tax on tips and, say, raising the SALT cap, that's going to cost even more. So at this point, if you're writing the tax bill in the House, you don't have a lot of room to maneuver under this bill. And then, of course, there's just the question whether or not this House package, comprehensive package, is even going to be able to have the votes to pass.
But, Steph, I know your reporting looks at what's been happening on the Senate, and part of the reason the Senate is moving on this is because the White House is pushing them. They need money immediately for border security.
Right. Senate Republicans heard from top Trump officials this week who told them that they need money now to continue their immigration crackdown, especially when you look at ICE, which is the agency most in charge of arresting and deporting immigrants who are here unlawfully. That agency has been underfunded for a very long time. They do not have the resources they need to kind of expand their work in arrest and deportation the way that Trump wants to. These are very expensive and complicated maneuvers. So they've already gone to Senate Republicans and told them we need money now. They want that $1.75 billion that is in the Senate package. They want that now for their border efforts so that they can start moving faster. And, you know, we heard from Lindsey Graham after that meeting, and he said that he hopes that they say the same thing to House Republicans, because, of course, this has been the big divide between the two chambers. The House wants to make sure they include everything that Trump wants to get done. They think that it's better to just have one shot at doing border, doing defense spending, doing the tax package all in one, especially with their very slim majority in the House. Meanwhile, Republicans in the Senate think it's not worth waiting for the much more complicated debate over taxes. Let's move now, move on border, move on defense, on the things that we know are less controversial that we can get done quickly. And we've seen the Senate follow through on that, and they've really put pressure on the House to move quickly. Of course, this is the closest we've really seen the House to actually having some kind of agreement, and I'll be watching very closely this committee meeting today, especially because the Budget Committee has some of those key House Freedom Caucus voices, people like Chip Roy and Ralph Norman, who have been the kind of voices who have demanded more of this package. And if it gets through committee in the House, it definitely stands a better chance of getting through the House overall.
Steph, it's not just the House, though, where there are these very tough voices and concerns about the budget. In the Senate, Rand Paul has said he's not going to vote for any budget reconciliation bill that has fake pay-fors in it. Is that a complicating factor, or one vote in the Senate is not a big deal?
It could be a complicating factor, mostly because anything the Senate passes would have to then get through the House. And Rand Paul is a pretty good metric for how some of those more deficit conscious Republicans in the House might be thinking. And Rand Paul told me, he wants to make sure everything is paid for, and he's not going to accept some of the arguments that some senators have been making, that they should count ending Biden's forgiveness of student loans, saying that they could count that as kind of money saved. Rand Paul says that doesn't count. That never went into place, so that's not good enough for me. People are very aware of where Rand Paul stands on this, and Senator Graham said just yesterday that he thinks they'll get Rand Paul on board. But it's not a certain thing. There are still voices in the Senate as well who are very serious about making sure that spending is cut.
Emily, I guess if you're looking for how much sway the Trump administration has at this point when it comes to the overall Congress, body of Congress, you can look to Tulsi Gabbard being approved as an intel chief for President Trump. That was a very controversial one. It wasn't seen getting passed, but it did indeed get through.
Yeah, and today we've got RFK, who's going to be facing his vote for HHS secretary, another one that folks weren't quite sure about, but he seems at this point on the path to passage. I mean, look, Becky, I think one of the really interesting dynamics here as well is what's going to happen if the Senate and House are actually able to move their packages. Are they able to come to some sort of compromise here? Because at this point, Speaker Johnson has said that the Senate bill is a non-starter in the House. And I'm very interested to see if that is the point in which the White House gets involved. Trump has really taken a step back on whether he wants the Congress to do a comprehensive package with all of his items in it, or whether he wants this slimmed down package. My sense here is that Trump just wants a win at some point, and he's kind of looking to see what comes out on top. But I think at the same point, if you get to a point where the House has their package and the Senate has theirs, certainly some Republicans who I've spoken to say they do expect Trump to get involved at some point, particularly if there's an impasse and there's no progress being made, to kind of put his finger on the scales, call up Republicans like we saw him do during the speaker's race, and make his pitch for why they need to get behind the overall plan.